Holy crap, guys. I am in complete awe at what I and we just witnessed last night, man. The Jaguars last night were down 27 to 0. 27 to 0. I was sitting there watching the game. I was, of course, in Jacksonville, and I was thinking, man, this sucks. Look, the Jaguars, the season's a victory. We flat out overachieved. We went 9-8. We won the AFC South when the AFC South was down. We're going to lose this game, and it's embarrassing the way it happened, but maybe we just weren't ready for this. We're a year early. The playoffs were too much for us to handle right now. But then the unthinkable happened. The Jaguars went on a 31 to 3 run, and the Jaguars won 31 to 30. The Jaguars held a lead in this game for a total of 0 seconds. The Jaguars did not hold a lead in this game until the clock expired. It truly took 60 minutes for us to win this one. Third largest comeback in postseason history. And this is really becoming a trend with the Jaguars. The last 5 home games, when you look at them, week 9 against the Raiders, the Jaguars were down 17 to nothing. They won. Week 12, the Jaguars were down 19 to 10 to Baltimore. The Jaguars won. Week 15, the Jaguars were down 27 to 10 to Dallas in the third quarter. The Jaguars won. Week 18 versus Tennessee, the Jaguars were down 10 to nothing, and they won. And this one, down 27 to nothing. 27 to nothing. The Jaguars came back without even committing a turnover. The Jaguars had no turnovers in that span, just playing tough defense, stopping them, forcing them to punt. The Jaguars came back and won with a -5 turnover differential. This game was absolutely nutty. And first, you have to give a shout out to Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, it was just such an amazing hire for this team, and he is just an amazing coach in general. He has instilled a positive winning culture in Jacksonville. Players love to play for Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson loves his players, and just the way the Jaguars went out there and won this one, this was a complete coaching masterclass when it comes to Doug Peterson versus Brandon Staley. A couple of the things he did, 2 very notable things. Going for 2, I was sitting there like, what are we doing? I understand you got the Boza unsportsmanlike. It's going to move you up, 1.5 yards or half a yard or whatever it is. But like, what is the positive of going forward on 2 here? It's like, if you get it, cool. You're down 2. You still need a field goal. But if you miss it, then you're down 4 and you need a touchdown. I was like, what are we doing here? And then Trevor Lawrence went completely air Lawrence and dunked it in for 2 points. Really, really cool stuff there. And the Jaguars got it, and we're down 2. And it's like, okay, if we get a field goal, we win. And that eventually happened. Another thing was the Jaguars went for it on 4th down, at the 40-yard line or whatever. And they lined up to the line of scrimmage. It was clearly going to be a run play or a quarterback sneak. The Chargers loaded up the line of scrimmage. Trevor Lawrence went to the under center, said to kill that play, he was going to turn it into a run play with ETN. And Doug Peterson just didn't like the looks of it, called a timeout, changed up the play. And that 4th down call was ridiculous. Like the 3 guys in the backfield, like the reverse out to ETN. He took that edge, got all the way down to the 15-yard line where you're able to kill the clock and get the game-winning field goal. Just, you can't question Doug Peterson. All of our football intellect is right here. Doug Peterson's all the way through the roof, okay? Sometimes you question Doug Peterson, but, this guy's built for the playoffs, man. He is now 5-2 in the playoffs all time. Forces Brandon Staley to be 0-1 in the playoffs. And, this was clear that Doug Peterson is just masterful, man. Just masterful. And you look at this, and when it comes to the players, I mean, Trevor Lawrence was dreadful in the first half. I mean, his first 16 passes, 4 of them were completed the Jaguars, and 4 of them were completed the Chargers. 4 interceptions on his first 16 pass attempts. 4 interceptions in the first half, 3 of them coming in the first quarter. But luckily he got it out of his way early, and he finished the game so hot, man. 24 of 31, 77% completion percentage, and 4 touchdowns. So he evened himself up, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And look, I don't care how we play in the playoffs, do whatever you can to win. If you have to throw 4 interceptions and you still win, throw 4 interceptions, throw 6 interceptions. I don't care. The Jaguar, he threw 4 interceptions, and then Trevor Lawrence, after playing terrible football, he put his big boy pants on and he played his best half of football we've seen. The moment, I was on Twitter, everyone said this moment is too big for Trevor Lawrence. Moment is too big. No, it was not. Trevor Lawrence came back. We all believed, and he put on just a quarterback masterclass, man. I mean, just cool, calm, collective, making his reads, making the throws. It was crazy, man. And, after the final touchdown drive of the half from the Jaguars, we scored on every possession. From that possession on, we went touchdown, 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 field goal. That was our drive sheet chart. Just crazy, man. Crazy the way we finished that off. And shout out to our overpaid wide receivers and tight ends. I mean, Ingram this game, 7 receptions for 93 yards and a touchdown. Evan Ingram was a complete beast. He was the leading receiver of the day. Christian Kirk, 8 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown. Christian Kirk was also amazing. Zay Jones, 8 receptions for 74 yards, 1 touchdown. Marvin Jones had 3 receptions for 29 yards, 1 touchdown. 4 different touchdowns of 4 different receivers. I mean, talk about being overpaid and not worth it, the money, and just wow. Shout out to our receivers, man. That was, the first half, I'll admit, the guys were getting clamped. There was getting no separation. Trevor Lawrence is just throwing it because he had to throw it. And then the second half, just these guys woke up. They're getting the separation. Trevor Lawrence was making the good throws, making the accurate throws, making the right reads. And, man, I am just still in awe of what happened, man. This whole entire group, man. Travis Etienne, 20 carries for 109 rushing yards, 5.45 yards per carry. Tremendous job by Travis Etienne, including having that just ever so clutch 4th down run on the 4th and 1, taking the reverse. He was the only ball carrier. Trevor Lawrence had 1 run for, I think, 7 yards, but Travis Etienne, no runs to Hasty. Snoop Connor didn't involve. This was a full Travis Etienne workload today. And just the offense did not start off great, but it's not how you start. It's how you finish. If there's any lesson that we learned about the Jaguars, we can play bad for a quarter or two, but look at us in the second half. What are we going to do? We can come back from anything. We can come back from 27 points. We can come back from anything, man. So just super impressed with the way the offense finished off. Defensive-wise, the defensive MVP was Roy Robertson Harris. He was all over the place. He's the first defender ever to record 4 tackles for losses, 2 pass breakups, and a sack in a playoff game. Only the 7th player to do it all time. And, even with the defense, the defense, we were down 27-0, but it was hard to blame the defense because we just kept giving them the ball. We gave them the ball, 2 or 3 times right in the red zone, a couple bad interceptions by Trevor. You had the stupid on the punt, just happened to hit the guy on the helmet, give him the ball right there, even though they only held him to 3 points there. The defense was put in a really, really tough spot, but once the turnover stopped happening, we started stopping them. And look, Justin Herbert had his plays, man. I mean, I knew this game that we probably weren't going to be able to stop Justin Herbert. I mean, he's just a good quarterback. He was converting to 3rd and longs. I just knew that, look, we were just going to have to either outscore Justin Herbert or we're going to have the ball last. Whoever has the ball last probably wins this one. And that's why it was so clutch on the 4th and 1. The Jaguars could have kicked the field goal there. It would have been I think 57 or 58 yards. I mean, that's makeable. But, if we make that, then the Chargers get the ball back with 1:30 left and all they need is a field goal to win it. We drained the clock. We were the last ones to possess the ball, and that's what happened. Some shout outs to Foye Luakin, 8 tackles this game. Josh Allen recorded a sack. I thought Trayvon Walker played well, even though he's got to stop being a knucklehead, man. I mean, these roughing the passers, it's out of pure frustration. And I hope as he gets older, he's going to mature and he's going to understand not to do that. I just hope that he can mature that out of himself, because that's been a recurring theme, and it almost cost us this game because we had a big sack. I know Justin Herbert flopped a little bit, but it was definitely avoidable. So that's one. And the Jaguars defense, they shut down the running game. I'd still look at this stat line, and Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly combined for 20 rushes for 55 yards. Dude, you were up 27 points at one point. Why do you only have 20 rush attempts? That's the same amount of rush attempts the Jaguars had this game, and they had to lead the whole entire game. They had 4 possession leads this whole entire game. Like, how do you only rush the ball 20 times? I mean, looking back on it, terrible job by Joe Lombardi. Everett was a beast, 6 receptions for 109 yards, 1 touchdown. And I remember telling the Bolt Bros, I'm like, look, stopping the tight end is not a 2022 Jaguar issue. This is just a historical Jaguar issue. I mean, Antonio Gates could have came in here and had a big game. But I will say a lot of this yardage was literally being down, and the Jaguars just trying to punch the ball. I mean, they got a lot of yards after contact when it comes to, our guys just trying to strip it. But he finished with a really good game. Keenan Allen, 6 receptions for 61 yards. You can tell we started to really, we started double covering him on 3rd down, because he was a big X factor. Keenan Allen's a really good receiver. I've always had a lot of respect for him, but yeah, I mean, so defensive wise, really good job by the defense. I mean, being down 27-0, and a lot of it wasn't your fault. I really can't put a lot of blame on this defense for being in the position that they were in. But so shout out to the defense this game. Special teams wise, I thought Agnew had a pretty good game. Logan Cook was not great. The punts just weren't really all that good this game. I don't know what was going on with him. Even the refs tried to tackle. I mean, the refereeing this game. I mean, look, I'm not a big blame the refs guys, but what the hell was that, man? What was this reffing crew doing? I thought it was a terrible officiating game, and I think a lot of people did. But yeah, going in there and trying to tackle the placeholder. What are you doing, man? What are you actually doing? So yeah, weird stuff by them. But Riley Patterson, only 2 for 2 on extra points, only 1 for 1 on field goals, but the most important field goal of the season right here. And he barely made that one too, man. That field goal was one thing to miss, but luckily he came through in the clutch, made the kick. And the Jaguars won as time expired. So, man, the Jaguars beat the Chargers 31-30. A few random things I found from Twitter. The Jaguars are the first team in NFL history to go from having the worst record to winning a playoff game. That's a good one. Like I said, the Jaguars held a lead for 0 seconds tonight. The Jaguars' record when trailing by 17 plus points between the years of 1995 and 2021 is 1-116. The Jaguars only won 1 out of 117 games when trailing by 17 plus points between those years. In 2022, when trailing by 17 plus points, we're 3-2. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. I mean, we witnessed history yesterday, guys. We witnessed history. Man, just when you thought that the stage was too big for the Jaguars, they arrived too early. They're a year ahead. The Jaguars go out there and Trevor Lawrence puts on a masterclass. Doug Peterson puts on a coaching masterclass. The different players do their assignments. We catch the balls. Evan Ingram has a big day. The Walker Little and Juwan Taylor completely dominated Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, to the point where Joey Bosa throws his helmet in frustration on the field, causes unsportsmanlike penalty. Jaguars get a 2-point conversion. And if Joey Bosa doesn't slam that helmet on the ground, who knows what happens? Who knows what happens? Because a field goal ties it. It might be an overtime game, and I don't know. Who knows what happens in overtime? I mean, seriously. And people were complaining about the call. The reason why they called that is because Joey Bosa slammed his helmet on the field. You can't be in the middle of the field and just slam your helmet like that. You can do it on the sidelines, do whatever you want on the sidelines. You can hit your teammates if you want, but yeah, that was on the field and it was, unsportsmanlike. So yeah, the Jaguars took advantage of that. And the Jaguars have now won 6 games in a row. 6 freaking games in a row. Like, are you kidding me? We went through a 5-game losing streak, and now we're on a 6-game winning streak, and we are hot right now. The team believes in each other, and this is just a really, really fun team to watch. And we've been through so much bad as Jaguar fans. I've been through you guys have seen me. I've been making videos through terrible, terrible seasons, covering terrible, terrible teams, live streaming just awful games. And now the Jaguars are out here winning the AFC South, winning playoff games. I mean, we have freaking arrived. And, we have a quarterback that can win no matter what kind of scenario he's in. You have a defense clamping down, even though there was no turnovers. They came up clutch. And we have a head coach who is just an elite head coach. And this Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson duo is going to be a lot of fun throughout the just the AFC the next decade, hopefully. So now we're in a situation where we can kick back and watch the playoff games at knowing that, look, after today's slate and tomorrow's slate of games, there's going to be 8 teams in the NFL still alive, and your Jaguars are going to be one of them, baby. Your Jaguars will be one of them. So different scenarios that can happen when it comes to, we don't know who we're playing yet next week. The most likely scenario is that the Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Miami Dolphins third string quarterback and Tyler Thompson, and Cincinnati wins. Buffalo probably beats whoever the heck is playing for the Ravens. I don't think Lamar Jackson isn't playing. I don't think Tyler Huntley's playing. So whoever they have backing him up, most likely scenario, Cincinnati, Buffalo wins. We play in Arrowhead, and the final 4 teams in AFC will be Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and welcome to the party, Trevor Lawrence. So that should be a lot of fun. But there is a situation where if Cincinnati and Buffalo both lose, the Jaguars would actually be hosting another playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens. So, hey, go Dolphins, go Ravens. That'd be awesome. Even though I don't think I can afford any of these playoff games anymore. But that would be just so sick. But if like either the combination of Cincinnati wins and Buffalo loses, then we're playing Cincinnati. If Cincinnati loses and Buffalo wins, then we're playing Buffalo, over in their home. So, those are a couple combinations too. But man, I'm happy. I'm excited. We get another week of anticipation of being distracted from whatever the heck's going on in our lives. The Jaguars winning just makes life so much better. It really does. And I don't know if that's sad to say, but it's true with me, man. My quality of life goes up when the Jaguars are out here winning playoff games, playing the way they are. Oh my gosh, it's just so much fun, and you guys all deserve it. And I got to say, if you're one of those people that turned the game off after we're down 27-0 and did not realize until after the game was over that the Jaguars won, I have no sympathy for you. You deserve it, with all due respect. And us that stayed in the stadium through that crap, yeah, it was quite, this will go down in history. This game will go down in history, and all these different games that I've been to, man. I went to the Raiders game this year, the Cowboys game this year, and now this game. Just so awesome. So awesome. But with all that said, thanks for watching. Victory Sunday to you guys. We get to watch 3 playoff games today as victors. What a feeling. What a feeling. But with all that said, thank you guys for watching. Please drop a like for me on your way out. We're on the road to 16K subscribers, man. Let's make it happen, man. 16K for good luck. Maybe we can get 16,000 before our next playoff game. I hope. But thanks for watching, guys. And of course, it was always the Jags. Go Jags.